And joining us today here on the American Ag Network, Jana Block. She is an NDSU Extension livestock specialist. And Jana, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, Jana, let's jump right in. We got to talk about coming up next week here, June 9th and 10th, NDSU, SDSU combining for Extension Beef Cattle Mineral Nutrition Field Days. And obviously, this is something, a great collaboration with NDSU and SDSU at two separate locations in North Dakota and South Dakota. So just for starters, talk about what we're going to see at both events next week, because I know that they're going to be virtually the same program.
Yeah, so SDSU and NDSU have been collaborating on an educational program for producers for the past 5 years. This is our 6th year. And this field day is an offshoot of that program, but it's kind of a separate opportunity for producers, people in the feed industry, and pretty much anyone that's interested in learning more about beef cattle mineral nutrition. Just to go and kind of take a day to interact with some leading mineral researchers around the country. We have Dr. John Arthington from University of Florida, Dr. Terry Engel from Colorado State, and our very own Dr. Carl Dahlin from NDSU. We also have some industry representatives from Micronutrients, Multimin, and Zimpro that will be just talking some products, and people can interact with them and ask questions. And the third component is in our mineral program, we talk about doing some forage sampling to really get a good understanding of what the forage is providing in terms of minerals. So we're going to go out and do some hands-on forage sampling, show people. We kind of talk about sampling like a cow to really get a good representation of what the cow's eating. And then we'll also be demonstrating a liver biopsy, which is a relatively simple thing that your vet can do to assess mineral status in your herd.
Well, I know as well, we think about just mineral nutrition in our beef cattle, so important, especially in a year like this where we're trying to, not only recover our forage from drought, but we see high input prices, et cetera, but it's still a very important part of our beef cow diet.
Right. And every year, our mineral concentration of the forages will change. And even from pasture to pasture on one operation, we can see some significant variation. And, producers are usually spending between $20 and $50 per cow per year. So this is definitely an area that will be worth the investment to just get a little more background and see if their program is really working for them.
And obviously with bringing in, many of these experts, producers are able to really get, some of that firsthand knowledge that they may not get, anywhere else, because you're pulling in, like you mentioned, folks from Florida and Colorado, et cetera. So really just combining as many great minds as you can to provide as much knowledge for our ranchers out there.
Yeah, we really are. We're trying to set it up in a format where people can get some good one-on-one interaction. We encourage people to think about their questions and bring lots of questions with them, and just, like you said, get as much out of it as they can.
Well, I know as well that each field day is going to begin about 10 a.m. June 9th is near Streeter, North Dakota. June 10th is near Phillips, South Dakota, with SDSU. And now, folks want to register. Jana, talk about that process. Can they still register here ahead of time with it coming up next week?
Yes, we'd really like you to pre-register one fashion or another. You can either reach out to myself or Adele Hardy with SDSU personally by getting on our websites, or we do have an online registration form that's available on the SDSU Extension events page. So that is a really quick and easy way to register, and both events are on that page. So you'll just choose North Dakota or South Dakota and the number of participants, and you can pay with a credit card.
Perfect. And I know, of course, it's a busy time right now with our farmers and ranchers. They're still trying to get a crop planted in many areas, but a great event. And again, it's going to start about 10 in the morning and should wrap up by about 5 o'clock or so in the afternoon, shouldn't it?
Correct. Yep. And just to note, that's on local time. So at the Streeter location, will be on Central Time, and at the Phillip or Cottonwood location will be on Mountain Time.
Good thing to remember. Again, June 9th coming up at the NDSU Central Grasslands Research Extension Center near Streeter, North Dakota. And then on June 10th at the SDSU Cottonwood Field Station near Phillips, South Dakota. And again, the details on the SDSU Extension website to pre-register. Jana, any other final thoughts before we run out of time?
No, just thanks so much for helping us spread the word, and hope to see many of you there.
Definitely. Well, we appreciate the time with that. Jana Block, North Dakota State University Extension Livestock System Specialist. Thanks so much for joining us on the American Ag Network.